This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accounting insiders to learn more. All right. Hello. Hey, this is Gary Dehart with Insightful Accountant. And I don't know if I'm going to put this will probably go on our blog. So we'll say it's also with on our podcast. So we'll call it the Accounting Insiders podcast as well. My guest today is Ben Richmond. He's a returning guest. Ben are you still the country manager US for Xero? That's the title?
Managing director in North America now. So I look after Canada and US. So.
All right. Well, there you go. Get some more travel. That's just what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much, actually, before we get into our conversation, how much do you travel?
Usually probably once every second week I'm on an airplane. So I do a lot of time across the US, across Canada. And then as a global company, we get together in different parts of the world, probably once a quarter. So there's quite a bit of travel. But I think the most rewarding travel for me is being out with our partners. So I do spend a lot of time in the field with our teams meeting partners, and I find that's the most energizing travel. So yeah, it's a tough one to manage all the travel. But luckily, being based in Denver, I'm right smack in the middle.
Yeah, and is Denver is it a Delta hub? It is, right? The Delta hub?
United hub. So yeah, we're lucky to have direct flights pretty much everywhere.
Okay, all right, so that's good. But so do you come to Atlanta a lot? I know I've asked you that before. I don't remember the answer, but you got to look me up when you do.
Yeah, we definitely overdue for a catch up when I'm in Atlanta next week. We come out to Atlanta quite a bit. It's a key focus city for us. So we have a pretty big accounting and bookkeeping community there, a team on the ground that supports them. We've been doing a lot of work with the small business brand out there as well.
Yeah. Do you have like an office here, or is everybody remote here?
Everyone's remote, but I think once a week they get together in a WeWork to come together.
All right. So we're going to transition. This is a great transition. So you're going to be in the Southeast. You'll be in Atlanta. You said you're going to hear it next week. So I guess a week and a half after that is Xerocon in Nashville. So are you just staying through Xerocon, or are you going to bounce back home and then come to Nashville?
I'll bounce back home. I've got a little bit of a camping trip to do in the mountains to get some mountain time in before coming to the high energy Xerocon in Nashville.
Yeah, so let's talk about the high energy Xerocon in Nashville. So literally, I think the best trade show I've been to was actually the Xerocon in Denver. And when you guys were still pretty young here in the States, relatively young, in the States, and Xerocon, I think that was the second Xerocon. Can't remember if it was the second or third, but so much energy at that event. And it was a great event. The one last one in New Orleans, equally fun. So let's just tell people what they can expect at Xerocon, kind of start high level and drill down to the things that I would say, or that you might call out as, hey, here's the key highlights, with, of course, the party being one of them. But
yeah,
so
absolutely.
Here's some Xerocon insight.
Here's some Xerocon insights. And I think, we've been doing Xerocon now for well over a decade. I think it's almost approaching 2 decades of Xerocon. I remember when we set out to start them, we really wanted to reimagine and sort of change the game for what accounting conferences are, because they're such a powerful thing for a professional when we come together, when we learn, but also how do you build that into having lots of fun when you have it. I think the most magic moment over the years was when I saw a journalist refer to it as the Coachella for accountants. So for us, Xerocon is a time to bring the Xero community together and show them just how great life is when we connect. And when we talk about connecting the Xero team, we're talking about our Xeros, our great accounting and bookkeeping partners, our ecosystem of apps, lots of industry organizations, and of course, the Xero small business customers. Because when we're all in it together, that's when the magic happens. So we have lots of people that are coming in from all across North America, the US and Canada. Equally, we have people coming from all across the world. So what excites me as well is we have partners coming from South Africa, Asia, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So not only is there a chance to share among your peers within North America, there's a chance for us to connect as a community across the world. And so that connection and celebration is probably the number one thing on why Xerocon matters. We find that it unlocks partners and it unlocks opportunities in our partners and encourages them to think more expansively about their relationship with Xero. It gets teams reinvigorated. So I've heard of partners that will bring, many accountants and bookkeepers are going on the journey of building cloud into their practice or digitizing their practice. And that's a big change management exercise across their teams. So many of the partners that we have will bring members of their team because it is such a big energy boost and helps them understand the why. It gives partners lots of new ideas for how to grow their business and inspires them to start new conversations amongst us and their peers. And ultimately, there's something to learn for everyone and get excited about where the business is going. So we see it's a conference where accounting and bookkeeping community leaders converge to connect, learn, be inspired, and celebrate together. So it's not a conference that's just about us. So you'll obviously hear from Xero leaders, but more importantly, you'll hear from other industry leaders, you'll hear from other partners, you'll hear from other technology partners in the space to really get expert insight into new and innovative ways to run and grow your practice. So there'll be over 50 app ecosystem partners there that seamlessly connect with Xero. So lots of great things to learn then. And not only that, it's not only the content that you'll see there, it's also there's lots of different events around Xerocon. There's lots of free time around Xerocon, and it's often those conversations in the hallway with your peers where you make connections. I've met lots of partners at Xero that became friends. Different accounting firms from different parts of the US that became good friends from attending Xerocon. And in one case, actually one which resulted in a merger between two firms. So
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, real super tactical. Like what's exciting me about the Xerocon is I think, I've been up here in the US for 8 years. I think this is going to be the Xerocon where you're going to see the most amount of new product announcements and enhancements coming from us. So there's lots of new product stuff being talked about. We're going to be tackling some of the big industry questions. And more than that, you're going to hear there's some really fun activations and immersive experiences that you can go into. So we've got the AI music factory where you can go in and actually generate your own music hit. We've got the Bling Bank, which someone tells me you might be able to get a Xero branded cowboy hat. There's the honky tonk zone where you're going to be able to learn a line dance. So there's lots of fun built in as well. And you mentioned it at the start, we wrap the whole thing up with the infamous wrap party at Luke's 32 Bridge. So a good amount of stuff, and you'll hear from our CEO, you'll hear from our Chief Product Officer. I'm going to be talking about the rise of the modern practice and does accounting need a rebrand? We've got Xero's talking about bridging the digital divide and better strategies for supporting your clients. Dia is going to take you through all the latest product innovations. Sukhinder does a lot of, Sukhinder, who's our new CEO, has a really vast experience in technology businesses around Silicon Valley, from Yodlee, from Google, from Amazon, and from doing her own startup. So she does a lot of work around talking about purpose and your career. This is a really, the Q&A which we did in London, it was a massive hit. We've also got external speakers like Steve Cassigan, who talks about sustainability. Zach Cass, who's going to be is a futurist who talks about charting AI's journey from humble beginnings to technological transformation. We've got Dr. Sondra Dalton-Smith, who's talking about how to find your restorative edge, the 7 types of rest. So, mental health and wellness is still a massive focus for us in both the profession and in the small business clients we support. So that's some of the highlight main stage speakers. And then as we jump into, we have over 15 breakout sessions that sort of break into 3 tracks, which is one, how to prepare for the future. And so obviously in there, you're going to see a lot about how AI is transforming traditional practices. What are the catalysts of innovation? How do you harness the future of payments technology? Adopting a cybersecurity mindset for business protection, which in today's world is more important than ever. And the future of accounting, how AI and mobile is starting to change the game. So lots of good stuff in the looking forward and preparing for the future. The build a modern practice is the second big theme of the tracks. There's going to be a lot of sessions in here around amplifying your practice through advisory. uncovering industry dynamics, the impact of private equity on the accounting industry. That's a big topic at the moment. Strategies to tame the tax beast, which we know is another big focus. And then, of course, as I mentioned, lots of global leaders coming from all across the world. So we're going to be putting a panel of global thought leaders and partners together to talk, to all share sort of what they see from different perspectives from the different markets and trends they're seeing in the accounting profession, and sort of a teaser on that. Obviously, a lot of the key challenges and opportunities in the profession are pretty much the same in every country, but it's really interesting to see the different perspectives of those challenges and the different ways different countries are solving them. And then there'll be a really awesome session on for Canada on how you supercharge your tax and year-end processes with Xero and Tax Cycle, which is our tax filing engine up in Canada. And then the last big thing is helping your clients thrive. So obviously, the big core purpose of Xero is helping small business, and accountants and bookkeepers are our key team player on that journey. And so you'll see sessions there on how to building confidence in your client's data. How do you elevate your advisory offering with connected apps? How do you empower goods-based businesses with accurate inventory insights? Sustainability is a big focus. So there's a session on carbon accounting. So understanding the carbon impact of your small business. And then how do you deliver added value and increased efficiency with bill spend and expense? So there's a really good range of stuff. And then obviously there's the massive exhibitor hall where you can go out and spend time. The Xero team are there, all the different parts of the Xero platform, so you can learn more about all the different products and workflows that Xero have. You'll have the over 50 apps and partners out there to go and learn which apps make sense for your practice. And you're going to be in one of the funnest parts of America, the home of country music, with peers from across the profession. So that was a lot. As you can see, I'm pretty excited. And I think it's going to be our biggest and best Xerocon ever for North America.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to it here. So a couple of questions for you. So is it for practitioners only, or are there tracks also for small businesses, or if let's say I'm an accountant, I want to bring a client?
Yeah, so predominantly the conference is focused on our accounting and bookkeeping partners. So the main delegate will be either an accountant or a bookkeeper. Often that from a range of different firm sizes. So we have lots of firms from the big T100 firms right down to sole practitioners. And as I said before, we have people, owners and people within the teams that are doing the work as well. So they're the predominant audience. We do like to put the small business voice into the conference. So you will see small business customers highlighted in the conference. But we don't take life too seriously at Xero. So I know that I have heard of in the past, there are small businesses that buy a ticket and do come. So they are most welcome to join as well.
Yeah. So if I am a firm and I'm not a Xero firm currently, um, if I send somebody or send everybody or what have you, um, is that going to be a good place for me to understand Xero, to really get a hands-on? I would think it is, but I don't want to make any assumptions, to really kind of come in and sit down with somebody and say, okay, well, I use X. Why should I use Xero?
Yeah, it is. We're actually lucky. I think Xerocon North America is one of our Xerocons around the world where we get the most new partners coming along and joining. So our most experienced partners use it as a chance to get together and think about how do they take the next step forward. But equally, we have a lot of new partners coming along as well. And as you mentioned, it is such a great opportunity for them, because not only can you understand the bigger picture of what is Xero and be exposed to all the Xero leaders, and then go and get very detailed help and explanations on all the different parts of the Xero platform and how we help firms go on this journey. But more importantly, what you really want to know is I want to talk to other partners that have done this before. So you can spend time talking to accountants or bookkeepers that'll have a similar firm to you that have been on this journey. And they'll share the good, the bad, and the ugly. They'll share if they were to do it again, how would they do it? But ultimately, they'll share the why it's been an important thing for their practice and their small business clients. So highly encourage new firms to come along and check it out. As we all know, CPAs need CPE credits. So there's a good amount of CPE on offer. There are still tickets available. If there's last minute tickets available, if people are looking to come along, and reach out to the Xero team, because if you are coming along as a newbie, we would love to host you, and we want to make sure you have a great time. But more importantly, we'd love to make those connections and introductions to other partners while you're there that can help share their story.
Yeah, and actually, you touched on my next question, and that was, is that connection, is there any kind of formality to that connection to where you have, hey, on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we've got, current Xero users to, carved out so they can talk to prospective, or would it be more organic?
Yeah, a little bit of it. We have different events. So there are different sessions. Like for instance, Liz Mason is running a session on building CAS in an advisory practice, and she's done that very successfully with Xero over many years. So there are sessions you can go to and see firms talking about how they've done it, and those sessions are very interactive. So they want people to be able to ask questions as well, and then there's sort of smaller events around the periphery as well. So there's an event for big firms that they go to. And then obviously we have the app which helps you form those connections. But if you're looking for specific connections, we can help. So go chat to the Xero. There is a the Xero stand which has lots of different parts of the platform. There's a welcome booth. And if you are looking to be connected to a partner, the team on site, most of our teams on site are there hosting a lot of partners that they look after in different territories around the US. And so they'll be able to help make that connection if you're looking to make a specific connection.
Okay, well, that's great. Anything that you can tease from an announcement perspective that without giving away the store?
Yeah, I think well, two things. I think there's some pretty exciting stuff coming in the goods-based space. There's some very exciting stuff coming in how small businesses get paid. There's some very exciting things coming. So obviously, accounting software starts at the bank data coming into Xero, and us categorizing, and then very very quickly being able to categorize the data into a way that you can then look at the insights. And there's been probably one of the most number one thing asked for from Xero across Canada and the US in regards to that process, that you're going to see a big bang release at Xerocon. So I know on some of our advisory council testing, it got a standing ovation. So I'm excited to see that go live. And then you're also going to see some pretty exciting developments in Xero's AI journey. So Xero's obviously had a lot of AI already powering the platform. There is a big announcement at Xerocon about what will totally change the game for how small businesses and our accountants interact with the accounting software. So really excited to see that get launched. So I'll leave that there for the teasers.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, that's a good one to end on then. We're going to end there. Ben, thank you so much. Again, look me up when you're in Atlanta. We'll definitely connect up in Nashville. And it's been fun watching really from the outside, but Xero's growth over the past, I hate to say how long I've been watching it, but it's been a while. Over the past really decade plus, just the leaps and bounds that Xero's made, both in the product as well as in the user base here in the US, and now more in the North America. So it's been great. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
again, anytime, happy to hop on a call. And I have to tease this, or it's not really a tease it, but before we started, Ben shared with us he had a little accident overseas. You made it through the whole thing without wincing. So congratulations.
Yeah, the
So,
ribs, the ribs stayed nice for the interview, which is good. But
yeah.
I will see you down in Nashville. Make sure you, on that note, pack comfortable shoes. That's the conference 101. Pack comfortable shoes. You'll probably need a cowboy hat at some point. And looking forward to having a lot of fun with everyone. So we'll see you there.
Great. Looking forward to it. See you then. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Gary.
This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you by Out of the Box Technology. Out of the Box Technology is your partner in accounting data services. With over 7,500 industry migrations performed and an expansive network of third-party integrations, a partnership with Out of the Box will augment your advisory practice and turbocharge client accounting operations. Visit outoftheboxtechnology.com/insightful-accountant to get started.